guys, my name is Shay and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be doing a recap video of Max and Helen for New Amsterdam, 4:14 Into the Bridge and 4:15 Two Doors. After a very long hiatus, I wanted to catch up before the new episode comes on tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get it. From the second the episode started with the tribute to VJ, the tears immediately began to flow for me. Max and Helen are at the funeral with everyone else. Even though it's unfortunate circumstances, it's really good to see the whole gang back together. Everyone gets up and has such beautiful words, along with personal stories to tell about VJ, and I loved it. When Max brings a patient in need of medical care to the hospital, he notices the many changes within the hospital. Helen notices more changes as well with the oncology department. She learns that Dr. Wilder has been signing off on these new changes, and Helen goes to confront her. Helen comes in with guns blazing, and Dr. Wilder says that her oncology department is still the same, just hidden from view. Dr. Wilder tells Helen to shut the door so that they can have some privacy and welcomes her to the resistance. They are all in the morgue and Dr. Wilder is telling Helen about everything. Helen's comment when she calls Dr. Wilder a rebel rouser was super cute. I love that. Dr. Wilder says that she is continuing what Max and Helen started at the hospital. Helen texts Max, who later comes into the morgue. He lets them know about a patient chaplain who needs a particular surgery, but that the hospital doesn't do them anymore. Helen tells Max that they are going to save Chaplin's life and welcomes him to the resistance. Max has no idea what Helen is talking about, but his confused look on his face is hilarious. Dr. Wilder, Max, and other staff are in the morgue about to do the surgery. Before they get started, Dr. Wilder lets everyone know how risky this procedure is and that their jobs are all on the line. Everyone agrees to it, and right before they are about to begin, there's a loud knock on the door. Max assumes that it's Floyd coming there to help, but it's really Veronica. Veronica says that she heard about the resistance being held in the morgue and that she just had to come and see for herself. Of course you did. Afterwards, the patient chaplain got the procedure that he needed, which was good, at another hospital. And the scene where Veronica barges in, it pretty much sets up what happens in the end. Veronica calls Lauren, Floyd, Dr. Wilder, Mia, Iggy, and the others involved in the resistance to the conference room. Dr. Wilder takes the blame for everything and says that she will resign. Veronica says that she will not accept her resignation and that the only reason that she's saying that is because her surgeries that she's done have been very profitable for the hospital. Dr. Wilder says that she will not stay under these conditions, and Veronica threatens her, saying that if she tries to leave, she will report her for her actions. Ooh, girl. Iggy comes to her defense, and Veronica says that unlike him, she takes her job very seriously. She comes at him again for the amount of patients Iggy has seen, and then she removes Iggy as chair of his department and claims that she's sorry, but it has to be done. And then it's like, don't even apologize if you really don't mean it. Like, she can shove that sorry up her you know what. Veronica questions Lauren about her resignation, and Lauren says that after everything that has happened, she's staying. Veronica tells her that it's not her decision to make, and that she happily accepts her resignation. Veronica decides to give Mia a second chance, and that she should have been honest with her, and to tell her the truth. So I immediately thought that it was Mia who told Veronica about the plan, but it was really Floyd. Oh, that hurt. Like, not Floyd. No. And then you could just see the looks of everyone's faces and they felt so betrayed. While everyone is leaving the meeting, Helen passes by them in the hallway and she gets the feeling that something is wrong. Helen comes to Max outside by the taxi and he says that he heard about the meeting. Max says that while he is thinking that there is something that he could do, he has to remember that this is not his fight anymore. Max begins to get in the car and Helen gives him a look and says that she can't let him leave like this. Helen tells Max that he's wrong and that this is his fight. She mentions that the hospital and their friends are fighting back, but they are losing because he's not there. Max says that they did everything that they could to make the hospital better before they left, and that while it didn't work out, he has to make peace with that. Helen tells him to forget about peace and that this is war. Helen encourages Max to stay and fight not only for the hospital alongside their friends, but to fight for her legacy along with his. She is for certain that he will win the war, and that when he does, Helen tells Max to get on a plane and come back to her. Max is worried that he will lose her, and Helen reassures him that losing her is impossible. Impossible. This is a forever type thing, and they worked so hard to be together that they'll be damned to not let anything or anyone come in between them. Helen tells Max to get in there to show them what he is made of, and this was such a good scene. They both had tears in their eyes, and the encouraging words that Helen gave Max was chef's kiss. The episode ends with such a beautiful moment of them kissing, and I loved it. Veronica is surprised to find Max in her office, and he is very comfortable with his feet up. He gives Veronica the option of two doors. The first door is that Veronica will resign and leave the hospital in someone else's hands, and the second door is that Max will stay in New York from the woman that he loves for the hospital that he loves, and that he will unleash a full wrath that she didn't know he had. Right in the middle of Max going off on Veronica, we hear a ringtone of Justin Bieber's Yummy. And when I first watched this, I didn't believe that the music was actually coming from the TV. I'm like, wait a minute, am I hearing this right? I literally rewinded it, and then when I heard it again, I just could not stop laughing. The fact that Max has Yummy as Helen's ringtone for when she calls is really cute. And I'm pretty sure she got that yummy yum. I'm so corny, I don't care. Max answers the phone and Helen says that she called to let him know that she passed the gazebo. She's refreshing his memory of when it was raining that one time, and one thing led to another, and then they ended up having sex there. They so freaky. Max says that he would love to reminisce about that day, but he is in the middle of giving Veronica a good one at the moment. Helen apologizes and tells him to give her the Mad Max and says that she loves him before getting off the phone. Max tries to remember where he left off, and he completely loses his train of thought, and Veronica fills in the blanks for him. Max tells Veronica that she is going down, and the security then escorts Max out of the hospital. After this, they are pretty much playing phone tag the entire episode and just calling each other at very awkward times, talking about their fun time in the gazebo. Max calls Helen back and he's describing every little detail of the gazebo experience. Helen stops him before he gets to the juicy part, and Max says that they broke the gazebo banister with entangling their bodies. Helen says that now is not the right time for them to be talking about how they vandalized a local heritage site. The woman who was standing next to her, Helen wants to hear all about it, and I do too. And Max is embarrassed because Helen is in surgery, and he apologizes to everyone, saying that Helen will call him back later. Max comes to a man in close vicinity to New Amsterdam. Max is trying to get this man's seat on the board to take down Veronica, and I'm all here for that. The man is reluctant at first, but then he agrees on one condition, that if Max can triple their patient volume along with their revenue, the seat is his. Max is nervous about how he's going to pull this off, but he's up for the challenge. Max calls Helen back for the second time and he goes into detail yet again. He just can't get enough. The second he mentions that he was licking every inch of Helen's body, Helen tries to put it off a speaker. Helen calls Max another name and Max is totally down, thinking that she's role playing, but that's not the case because she's in a meeting this time. Max just keeps going for it, saying that if the gazebo is a rockin', don't come a knockin'. I can't. Helen sees that Max clearly isn't taking a hint, so she hangs up on him. Afterwards, Helen is nervous while laughing, saying that the speaker, it must be broken or something. We see some familiar faces again: Casey, Baptiste, Agnes, Gladys, and Sandra. Max is trying to recruit them all to come and work for urgent medicine, and they all say no. Casey mentions that they all lost their jobs because of Max, and assumes that Max is just going to up and leave again. Casey makes it clear to Max that if he can give him his word that he's staying, for real this time, then he, along with everyone else, will come right with him. Max can't really give him a definite answer, and Casey leaves. We hear that special ringtone again, and Max declines Helen's call. Max comes into urgent medicine and he is surprised to see the waiting room is full and everyone is working. Max is curious to know how this happened, and after a conversation with Floyd earlier in the episode, he called everyone and they agreed to help. My girl Lauren shows up too, wanting to help, and it was such a joy just seeing her because I was definitely missing her throughout the episode. Almost all of the gang is back together, and it just warms my heart. Max comes home and he calls Helen. She sarcastically says that she was just getting up, and Max says that it's probably too late to talk about their gazebo memories and suggests that they make some new ones. Helen wonders how they can create new memories when they're oceans apart, and Max tells Helen to close her eyes. He tells her to try and imagine his arms wrapping around her. Helen laughs, finding it hard to imagine that, and Max politely asks her to try. They have this really passionate moment of them connecting over the phone, and the way that they not only shot this scene, but Freema and Ryan's performance was incredible. And shout out to Ryan, who directed this episode. He did such a great job. Afterwards, Helen is quiet and Max is curious to know if she's still awake. The episode ends with Helen telling Max that she thinks that they're going to be just fine. Moments I loved from the episode: when Helen comes to Lauren and she sees that she is uneasy about something, Lauren confesses to taking VJ's son's pills out of his bag, but that she didn't take one. She mentions that the hospital is not good for her and that she needs to leave. Helen tells Lauren that if she needs to leave the hospital for her own sobriety, along with her sanity, then she can do that. Lauren was definitely struggling, and it made me sad to see this. And I just loved how Helen gave her permission to think about herself and do what feels right for her. The scene right here was so good, and in moments like this, it really makes me miss our friendship so much. Another scene that I love, Dr. Wilder's patient, Lewis, who has long stage bone cancer, and that his last wish is to attend his daughter's wedding. She teams up with Mia. She brings singing bowls to help with Lewis's pain. Mia starts asking Lewis a bunch of questions about his daughter's wedding to distract him, and then we see a dreamlike scene of the actual wedding. Both Dr. Wilder and Mia are at the ceremony. Lewis walks his daughter down the aisle, and then they dance. Back to reality, Dr. Wilder tells Mia that even though Lewis has passed, she still got him to his daughter's wedding. This was such an emotional moment, and I love that they both teamed up to help Lewis find peace before his passing. I hope you guys enjoyed my recap for Max and Helen for New Amsterdam 414 and 415. I hope you guys have a great day, stay safe, and see you guys next week.